Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be building a concrete walkway through our yard. When both of our vehicles are in our driveway, it ends up covering up the sidewalk, and you have to either squeeze through the small sliver of driveway and brush up against the car, or walk through the grass. And that causes problems with the grass. If you're constantly walking across it, it won't want to grow, especially during the summertime. It'll end up dying. So I'm going to build a stepping stone walkway through the yard. It's going to look beautiful when it's all done, so stick around and I'll show you guys how we do that. To do this, there's no need for forms or anything like that. I'm just going to cut out the shape that I want the stones to be in the grass, and I'll dig down about 3 to 4 inches, and I'll just fill that up with concrete and show you guys that in a minute. But I've got my helpers out here today, so hopefully this will go pretty quick and be able to spend some time together.
Yeah, out. You're home. There you go. Have a nice day, little beetle. See that? I'd be nice to bikes.
So I'm trying to make the concrete look more like stones and not like concrete. And one thing you can do to make sure that that happens is to change up the size and the shape of these stones. If they're all the same size, they're going to end up looking like a cookie cutter concrete paver that you purchase at the store. I want this to look like stone, so I'm making the edges a little bit more jagged and sharp, and then the size changing from each paver, and they're going to be unique and different for each one. Now you may be thinking it might just be easier to purchase these large stones yourself and just lay them down without having to do all the concrete, which that's true, but where I'm located, it's really hard to find large slates like this. Next, I'm also going to be paying attention to the height. As I'm pouring the concrete, I want this to be pretty much level with the height of the grass. Not the soil level, but a little bit above the height of where I'm going to be mowing the grass, because I want the stone to stand out from the grass. I don't want it to, over time, just get buried by the soil around it and just be a pain in the butt to have to edge around each of these stones. So I'm going to have it stand up out of the soil about 1 inch or so. Now I'm going to come back with a little bit of concrete and add to a few of these to make sure that they're level. I needed a little bit more concrete on a few of these sides. So I'll smooth those out again with the trowel, and then I'm going to come back with some mortar in just a minute, and I'll sprinkle that on top just very lightly. And basically mortar is concrete, it just doesn't have all of that large stones or gravel inside of it, so you can have a lot more control while you're trying to smooth over that surface. So this will help just absorb some of the excess water that's on top of the concrete, but it'll also give me a little bit more freedom to sculpt and move things around without the stones getting in the way as this hardens up. Next, I'm going to come back with a small trowel, and I'm trying to square up all of those edges, and this is when I'm really shaping the stone, making it look more like a stone instead of a blob of concrete. So I'm going to go around all those edges and straighten those out, and then I'm going to add in some texture, some corners that are chipped off, different things to make it look more like a stone. And I think this is the fun part, because not every stone has to be exactly the same. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can just have fun with it. And you can see while I'm doing this, I'm also smoothing out the top of the stone with that small trowel. And this time it's a lot smaller trowel. I'm leaving purposeful texture in there, not making it perfectly smooth, but I'm leaving some ripples in that to make it look a little bit more like a stone. Now I've got all of the shaping pretty much done. I'm going to go through again and just add a little bit more texture to the top of each of these stones, making sure that it's about what I want. And then I'm going to come back with just a very fine dusting of mortar and sprinkle that over top. My only worry about this is these are looking pretty smooth. If I don't put anything on this, it might end up being a little slippery when it rains, and as time goes by, if any moss grows on these or anything, I don't want it to become too slippery. So this will just add a little bit of grit on the surface. A few hours after I finished these slabs, I had a really hard storm come through, so just to be safe, I covered this up with a few tarps overnight, and now it should be good. We've got a little bit more rain coming through, but it's had enough time to set up now so the rain won't hurt it. So you'll want to make sure that you stay off of this for at least a couple days. There's not going to be anybody driving across this, only foot traffic, so it's still soft enough to be brittle. You don't want to drop anything or damage it in any way, but just walking across it should be fine after 2 or 3 days. And then if you wanted to drive vehicles over it, I'd wait a full week before doing that. Well, that just about finishes up the video for today. Hope you guys found this helpful. If you did, let me know down in the comment section below. I'd love to hear from you guys, and don't forget to hit that like button on the video as well. I want to give a big shout out to all my supporters on Patreon. Thank you so much for your support. Because of you guys, I'm able to continue to make videos like this. Materials aren't cheap, so every bit of help goes a long way. So thank you so much. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one. So we've recently started a new channel called 2 Guys and a Mill. I'll leave the link right there on the screen. If you guys are interested, go check that out. It's brand new, so you can be some of the very first to subscribe on the channel. But we're basically cutting anything we can get our hands on that mill, whether it's Apple computers, golf balls to see what's inside of them. We've done cheeseburgers. It's over the top, a little crazy, but I think it should be fun.